And then Georgia Tech was able to host, but they were sent home back to their practice field real early. But they beat Alabama Birmingham first. They tried to move up from the loser bracket, but they couldn't quite do it because Rhode Island beat them. And Rhode Island, may I remind you, is from the Atlantic 10. Alabama did well for the most part, but they got beat by a Rhode Island team that was determined to win, and that was the first 4 seed to probably make it. So it was Arkansas State versus Rhode Island, and it said, and Arkansas State was given all they can handle in game 1, but they pulled it out. Well, let's see what happened there. It was forced into extra innings, and Arkansas State was say we better win this first one, and if we want to do anything good, that's what they did. And we're going to look at Virginia Tech, and they hosted it. They had no problem either with their respective regional. No competition even from Mississippi State, so it was probably a payback against the SEC. And Fordham hosted, but they couldn't get out of the loser bracket and lost in the loser first game, so that's the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes you just get dealt a bad team that you don't want to play, and you had to play 2 good teams back to back, and I guess you just didn't have enough to make it. So, and then Virginia Tech beat the crap out of Charlotte probably, and they did in game 2. Then as we look at the Massachusetts, they hosted it. They did well. No problem holding teams to low scores. On the other side, West Virginia, they played fundamental baseball, and they won the respective regional. But West Virginia upset the Big East, beat the #1 team at the time, Massachusetts, and they were ranked ahead of the Razorbacks at the time. And we'll have to see what the score was. West Virginia took one. They stole a game at Massachusetts, but then Massachusetts came right back and stole the game at West Virginia. So it made a showdown for game 3. And it was a low-scoring ball game, but West Virginia won. And that takes care of that. So that's set up for the College World Series. The Hogs against West Virginia, Texas, and Utah went and did that. And on the first side of the bracket, it was all Hogs. Texas gave Arkansas all they could handle, though, in that winner's game, by Hogs having to give up 7 runs. And it was just powerhouse Texas and Utah, but I couldn't believe how a powerhouse like Utah could lose to Texas 21-4. But they did try to bounce back against Texas, but they came up just short and lost 10-8. Let's take a look and see what the main difference was. Oh, it was a 6-run inning in the bottom of the 7th for Texas that made the difference. For Texas in the second game against Arkansas was no match, and they couldn't handle what the Hogs had it going. So we look at this other side. Penn State said, "Okay, we're so good we can beat a West Coast team." But they couldn't handle Hawaii's wonderful, prolific offense. They lost 12-9. Then Arkansas State and Virginia Tech. That was a good one to watch. That was look at that, 15-14. You don't see that every day. And look at that, 14 runs off of 16 hits and 15 runs off of 18 hits. That was just a day you didn't want to play defense, probably. The main difference was that Arkansas State pushed 1 extra run across in the bottom of the 9th, and that was the deciding run of the ball game. And then, since Virginia Tech and Penn State lost, we're going to see who was the better of the two for the East, representing the East, and Virginia Tech got ousted by Penn State 17-5. And then Arkansas State lost to Hawaii, and that was a 16-15 decision. The bottom was Hawaii pulled out a run in the bottom of the ninth to win that one. Interesting note was that Arkansas State put together 9 runs in top of 6, but was not able to hold off Hawaii. So they said, okay, we're going to have a Sun Belt team versus Big Ten team, and Arkansas State won over Penn State 12-7. I don't understand how that worked. So then Arkansas State said, we're going to try to do something real quick. And then they said, okay, we're going to force an extra game. So they did. They beat the crap out of Hawaii 23-13. They scored 13 runs. Arkansas State scored 13 runs in the 3rd inning. And that set the momentum, and the game was over in 7 innings there. Even though Arkansas State did commit one error, it didn't really matter. But Hawaii did go away silently because in the bottom 5th they put together 9 runs, but that's not enough to overcome a big deficit, especially when the next frame later Arkansas State said we're going to put up 7 more just for insurance, so that's the way that one went. But in the 4th game, Arkansas State ran out of gas and lost 16-5, and that didn't help when Arkansas State allowed 13 runs over the first 3 innings. So that takes care of that, and that set up the overall marbles for College World Series final between Arkansas and Hawaii the Rainbows. And so far, Arkansas won the first one. We'll have to see how the next game or 2 goes, depending if Arkansas wins. In the first game, it was this is the most runs Arkansas has given up all year. But they know how to put up runs of their own. Arkansas committed 3 errors. That's put 2 of them in the first inning, which led to 7 Hawaii runs. And overall that's acceptable because Arkansas had offense all the way around. They scored in every inning that they were to play. And they couldn't even play in the bottom 7 because the score was so big. So that takes care of this section. This section was probably cut up into 2 parts because of the length of the video. So it's going to actually be a part 4. Well, have yourself a great day, and we'll tell you how the College World Series went.